Hey everyone, here we are for Surrender to Love, day number 10. You know, this really is a joy-based spirituality workout. It really is a workout. Yesterday was hard. Yesterday I did 2 takes. Hey Ellen. And even up until like 11:45 at night, I was like, well, should I redo it? I was really not happy with how I showed up yesterday because I didn't feel as tuned in. Oh, with lipstick. You like my lipstick. Um, I wasn't as tuned in as I would have liked to have been. And so I wanted to talk about surrendering to love and about these different kinds of series that I do. What is the workout? The workout is like in the previous series called Presence. The workout was to show up each day feeling my larger sense of presence and then allowing whatever insights to emerge from that feeling state. Those of you who consider yourselves empaths and highly sensitive people, what we're doing here is we're practicing being highly sensitive to higher vibration emotions. Usually when someone says they're an empath or highly sensitive, they're usually tuned in to things that they need to protect themselves from. So tuned into someone's pain or things that they need to protect someone else from. So tuned into someone's pain or tuned into someone's rascalness, my sensors went up for that one. What we're doing here is we're tuning into feeling states like surrendering to love in a contemplative way, but also in an embodied way. So we're contemplating with our bodies, and that's the workout. And so most days when I'm about to do a video, I'm tuned in, I'm plugged in, and that's the workout. And then I can deliver a message to you from that place of well-being, from that place of a high vibration and a clarity inside of me. Well, one of the things that I realized after midnight last night that I made a decision about, because I have practiced being kind to myself for many years, is I really like that I just show up anyway. I really like that about me. I really like about me that I'm willing to keep my commitment even when it's not perfect. And so one of you reached out to me and tried to make me laugh and was like, I appreciate you. You're just always there. And I thought that's really cool, not just to receive that, but also to receive that for yourself. To say, let me look at what my commitments are to myself and to where I get insecurities come up. And do I let those insecurities stop me from showing up? And that's the challenge for me of doing a 90-day or 100-day series on something like this. It's asking a lot. And the other thing I decided I like myself for is that I am not like, I don't come to you as some enlightened saint or guru or something like that. I'm a human being with a divine nature who's practicing and working out her awareness of her own divinity. And in that way, we're in this together. And that makes me really happy. Like, that is like, I like being that person. It makes me feel like one of, in a way. I'm a little bit ahead of you, but I'm not like on some other planet with like, yeah. It's nice to be one with the people I'm working out with. And that's how I feel with you. And I hope that through my humanness and my willingness to show up, that will give you more courage to just be human and show up as well with whatever you've committed to. It's also practicing practice 1 in the 12 practices, which is one of the pieces of practice 1 is imperfect and awesome. And so that was me yesterday, imperfect and awesome. So showing up is one thing I wanted to talk about today. Another thing I wanted to talk about is being humbled. There are many ways to be humbled. And I mean being humbled in a sense of I'm smaller than the bigness around me. Now, I'm not making a judgment about this. in some ways that can be really healthy and really good. And in some ways it can be very negative and destructive. So let me give you an example of both. So being humbled because so yesterday I was humbled. I was humbled by the fact that I showed up and I gave it my all, and I still didn't, hit a triple winner, even though I tried. But I was humbled by the fact that I didn't hit it. So that's something that makes me feel more human, which makes me feel connected with the rest of the humans around me who are also like doing their best. It gives me compassion for others. There's another way of feeling humbled as well. Not just from loss, but from feeling so loved that you can't even believe that you're that loved. That's a healthy way of feeling humbled. That there is love from other people, or there is love from the whole universe that is so much bigger than you that you just feel like this tiny little thing as part of this big, vast thing. And I find that when we don't let ourselves be humbled that way, two bad things can happen. One bad thing can happen is that we look for another person to be bigger than us. That's not a good thing. And that's how people who are empathic end up in relationships with people who are unkind. We'll just say it like that, or cruel. So that can be humbling to be in a relationship like that. You don't want that. The other thing, which would be the flip side of being humbled, would be, I'm going to be the dominating one. Well, that's not a pleasant place to be. That's a lonely, lonely place to be. So not seeing yourself as small in the vast sense of the love that's all around you. For some reason, it's human nature to want something bigger to look up to look at in terms of, wow. I mean, even Sadhguru, he has a 15,000-year-old yogi, I think I'm saying this correctly, who is the being that he looks at and goes, wow. Like, for some reason, as human beings, we need that. And Sadhguru has 9 million volunteers as of a couple of years ago. 9 million volunteers, but to him, he's a failure because he hasn't reached all 7 billion people. So what I'm saying is, it's perspective in terms of, and I'm not saying he feels like a failure. I think he uses that as a storyline and as an aspiration, a storyline to help other people see what he's aspiring to, and an aspiration for himself to fill his heart and his life with meaning. And so he leans into this bigger love than him and goes, wow, yes, that, and then channels that to the best of his ability. So being humbled, being loved, I think that when we let ourselves be so loved that we're so overflowing with that love, I have a feeling that that is the gateway key to rising above intrusive thoughts and emotions. I just realized the lighting on this is very dark right now. Sorry about that. Imperfect and awesome. Many of you who are here are working through past experiences that have, through either neglect or abuse, have caused you to have intrusive thoughts and emotions that really have a negative impact. They're not just bothersome like a fly, but they can really take down the meaning and happiness in your life. They could take it down, and you don't want that to happen. And so when you show up surrendering to love to the best of your ability and saying, this energy of love that makes flamingos and that makes, bamboo groves grow, and that made me a speck of awareness here in this infinite universe of galaxies. I don't understand it, and it's a mystery, and it's bigger than me, and I'm going to let myself believe that it loves me. I'm going to assume that this infinite intelligence is made of love, and I'm going to assume that it loves me. And that's what surrendering to love means to me right now, today. And I wonder how these words are landing with you. I wonder how they're landing in your mind. I wonder how they're landing in your heart. And I wonder how they're landing in your body. Surrendering to love every day. And who knows what it's going to feel like on day 90, right? What is this workout going to feel like on day 90? I want to share one admission, a confession, as we're going forward here. One of the things that is interfering with my sense of surrendering to love is a feeling of compulsiveness of wanting to protect someone more than I have the ability to protect them from themselves and from their own intrusive thoughts and feelings. And I'm going back in memory, I think on a pre-language level, to people from my childhood who I wanted to save and I couldn't save them. And so for me, that is what an emotional flashback feels like sometimes. And I have to keep turning that over. And to have an energy around me of love that's bigger than me gives me something to turn it over to. Some people will go to the land and take their burden and give it to the land and let the land take it in, because Earth does that for us also. So that's an option as well. So I just want you to know what I am moving through. And one of the places where I got stuck yesterday was sometimes it's an emotional quagmire of a flashback that I'm just stuck with for the moment. The good news is that those flashbacks aren't lasting for weeks and months and years. I'm able to recognize them and come to the other side more quickly. The other thing I have going for me that I want you to recognize, because I want you to have it going for you, is I'm surrounded by people who are doing this workout as well. And that makes my life very, very rich, because every day I get to talk to people who are also growing and who are growing toward the light. And so we're doing it together. And that makes the path not just less lonely, but really joyful. That means I got people to celebrate every day and who appreciate and celebrate me as well. I wish that for everyone who's here. I wish that for everyone in the world. So one of the assignments I gave to someone a few weeks ago that I think is probably the most important assignment I've ever given, that I might want people to start tattooing on themselves, is set appointments with healthy people and keep them. Always have one on your schedule. Set appointments, schedule appointments with healthy people and keep your appointments. That's probably the healthiest, kindest thing you could do for your lifestyle as you surrender to love, because they'll just give you more and more reasons to keep surrendering, and you'll have more joy and more trust in life because you're surrounded by kind people. So thank you for being some of those people in my life, in my world. I appreciate you more than words can say. And Jonathan and Froggy, say hi. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow.